Hey everyone, welcome back to Gym World Tube. Hope you're all doing great. We just witnessed an incredible guest posing by SAMSON DAUDA at a recent competition held in Denmark. Now, if you've been following the bodybuilding scene, you know SAMSON is always a force to be reckoned with. But this year, he's on a whole new level. The mass, the conditioning, it's insane. The guy has made serious improvements since last year. This is the real SAMSON DAUDA, folks. No tricks, no gimmicks. The muscular separation, the conditioning with only 5 weeks out from MrOLYMPIA and weighing in at 300 pounds, it's all just mind-blowing. SAMSON is definitely a dark horse in this year's Olympia. Some might even say he's more dangerous than Derek Lunsford. He's aiming for his 3rd Olympia and he's dead set on taking home that coveted Sando trophy. As you know, the winner of MrOLYMPIA has their name engraved on the Sando trophy, and SAMSON is determined to make his mark. Remember, he secured 3rd place last year. So, the question is, can he go all the way this time? Let's discuss this more in the comments below. What do you guys think? Is SAMSON DAUDA going to be the new MrOLYMPIA? Alright, let's dive into the Italy Pro and that shocking upset. Hunter Labrada took 1st place, beating out Italy's own Andrea Presti and Brazil's Bruno Santos. Now, this is where things get interesting. I couldn't shake the feeling that Hunter's physique wasn't quite 100%. While his cuts and conditioning were solid, they weren't mind-blowing. But here's the kicker. Check out his lower body compared to Andrea Presti's. Hunter's legs were noticeably better, but Presti came in with that razor-sharp conditioning we've come to expect. It was such a close call that when they announced the results, the crowd went wild. So many Italian fans were convinced Andrea should have won. But let me assure you, Hunter was the rightful champion. However, if you look closely at his midsection, you'll notice a weakness. Watch how he constantly covers his stomach when he's flexing. There's a noticeable bulge just above his navel that I'm not sure what to make of. Time will tell if this becomes an issue. Nonetheless, he's the new MrOLYMPIA qualifier. What a wild ride. Alright, in the next part of today's Gym World Tube, let's take a look at Chris Bumstead news. As you know, his deadline for making a big announcement is tomorrow. And just to keep us all on our toes, he dropped a new training video today. Man, Chris is looking absolutely shredded. More cut and defined than ever before. Now, I'm pretty sure this is all part of a big promotional build-up for something huge tomorrow. We're all on the edge of our seats, waiting to find out what it is. If Chris wins the MrOLYMPIA again tomorrow, that will be his 6th title. That would put him in the same league as some of the absolute legends of bodybuilding. And honestly, I hope he doesn't retire anytime soon. Chris is such a great athlete with an incredible physique. He's only 30 years old, so he's still got plenty of years left in him. Compare him to guys like Andre Farah, who's 37 and still chasing that Olympia qualification. Chris is so young and has so much potential. It would be a shame to not see him on the Olympia stage for years to come. What do you guys think? Do you think Chris will win again? Have you seen Vitaly Gayduk recently? As you can see, he's been crushing his training and maintaining incredible consistency. Unfortunately, he had to skip this year's Olympia, but he still competed in a couple of qualifiers. Just look at that arm. It's incredible. It's a real shame we won't see him at the Mr. Olympia this year. I can't help but feel a bit disappointed, but I'm confident he'll qualify for next year's Olympia at his first attempt. And who knows? Maybe he could even pull off a miracle there. Last year, he placed third at the Arnold Classic Brazil. The first and second place finishers, Rafael Brandao and Tonio Burton, were both top 10 Olympia contenders. He was also really close to qualifying for the Olympia at the Detroit Pro. Remember that competition? Martin Fitzwater earned his Olympia qualification there, while Vitaly, with that incredible physique you see in the photo, unfortunately didn't make the cut. He then went on to a bulk and recovery phase. That physique he had at the Detroit Pro was truly impressive. His opponent, Martin Fitzwater, is a force to be reckoned with. As you know, he lost to Nick Walker by a very narrow margin. Martin is incredibly strong and has a massive neck. I mean, what can I say? Alright, let's see the next update, and it's a big one. We're talking about Derek Lunsford. Right after Hadi Choopan dropped his leg workout, Derek followed suit and released his own. It seems like these two are in a friendly little competition to see who can one-up the other with these constant updates. But here's the thing, Hadi Choopan seems to be taking a different approach. It looks like he's decided to keep his physique under wraps for now, maybe on the advice of Haney Rambit. He wants to surprise everyone at the last minute. Now, let's focus on Derek. In his latest training videos, especially the leg workouts, it's clear that his quads have made some serious gains. This is huge, considering that his quads were a bit of a weak point for him in previous competitions. If you look at his side triceps pose from last year's Pittsburgh Pro, you can see that his quads were lacking a bit. But now, they're looking fuller and more defined. This is definitely a game changer and could pose a serious threat to his competitors. Now, let's talk about the UK. The most recent contest, there was a qualifier for this year's Mr. Olympia in the open class. As I mentioned in a previous video, the top contenders were expected to be Robbie Mascura, Patrick Moore, and possibly Vlad. My money was on Vlad. With his impressive size and the potential of bringing an even better condition, I thought he was a shoo-in. However, it's been about 1.5 years since we've seen Patrick on stage, so he could come back with a completely new and improved physique. And there's even more drama. I've heard rumors that Robbie Mascura might not even compete in the UK contest. If that's the case, it could really shake up the competition. The next subject of today's Gym World Tube is about Muscle Discord podcast, where Olympia commentator Bob Cicherillo breaks down his thoughts on some of the top competitors. I've pulled out the juiciest bits for you guys, so let's start with what he had to say about Nick Walker. Bob was pretty clear. He doesn't see Nick taking the Olympia title anytime soon due to some physical limitations. He also mentioned Martin Fitzwater giving Nick a real run for his money in New York, even suggesting that Fitzwater could have won that show. Most bodybuilding experts agree that if Nick had lost that contest, there wouldn't have been much backlash beyond his hardcore fans. It was really Nick's sheer size that carried him that day. This year is huge for Nick. He needs to prove he can break into the top 3. As for SAMSON DAUDA, Bob thinks Samson doesn't need to be 330 or 334 pounds. He just needs to focus on conditioning. In fact, Bob believes Samson could even win the Olympia at 95% condition. Because he has the best structure in the game and he's chasing a realistic goal. Unlike Nick, Hottie, and Derek, who might struggle to change their physiques, Samson can get lean. Pretty interesting take, right? What do you guys think? Drop a comment below. Let's talk top 6 predictions. Just like last year, Bob sees Derek, Hottie, and Samson in the top 3. He's got Andrew jacked, Nick Walker, and Brandon Curry rounding out his top 6. As for Martin Fitzwater, Bob doesn't see him cracking the top 6 this year, but he's really high on Mohamed Fouda. He's calling Fouda the dark horse of the show. For those who don't know, a dark horse is someone who's unexpected but could really surprise everyone. Both Fouda and Fitzwater are in their first Olympias, and everyone's already talking about them as future contenders. The latest update is from Michael DeBull. In his recent post, he tagged Oxygen Jim and Ahmed Asker. It seems he's been in Kuwait for a while now, gearing up for this year's Olympia. And guess what? Michael's heading to the right place to pack on some serious mass. Oxygen Gym is renowned for its muscle-building capabilities, and this new photo is all the proof we need. He's definitely looking bigger and better than ever. With this kind of progress, Michael is likely to maintain his spot in the top 6 at the Classic Physique Olympia, just like last year. It seems everyone's stepping up their game for this year's Classic. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you're new here to Gym World Tube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and share this video with your friends. And of course, give it a like and leave a comment. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.